Hey everyone, I am here on the Whirlpool fridge, thanks to the Tentacle Cam, recapping my experience on day one of ELUNA, which was yesterday. And the lighting is doing weird things, but I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it because I have to eat and then get over to the other hotel. And that hasn't been too bad. After I broke my legs in the first day, the walking's been relatively okay. I do have to occasionally rest and come back and take my socks off because I'm old, but if I rest enough and hydrate, I've been doing pretty good. Yeah, yesterday was a pretty good day. I actually learned a lot in the first session I went to, which was on like why you remove the expand my results or default it to expand my results instead of full text. And yeah, they did it for DEI reasons. Yes, I'm reading my notes, deal with it. But the interesting thing that I found that was super useful is the explanation of why you sometimes get these weird Schrodinger's cat type statuses in Primo where it's like check for available services. Well, now I know why, because a lot of times we have the content where I'm like, why are you so vague? Well, it has to do with matching, of course. So if you have incorrect metadata in like your 020 or your 022, depending on if it's a monograph or serial, or the linking fields, the 776s. If you've got incorrect metadata in there, it doesn't match, and if it can't find the match, it just goes, maybe you have it, maybe you don't. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, there's not much I can do with this right now, but yeah, I feel like I have to move ILL instead of Primo before taking advantage of that. I still don't understand, and this was one of the questions I couldn't ask, so if anyone from Exley versus Clairvay is watching this, what is the reason why you don't let people go to fully flexible from easy active? Is the push to put us all on easy active because it saves you guys server storage? Just wondering. Because once you go easy active, you can't go back, and I'm sure there's people that got set up on easy active that would rather be fully flexible with CDI. I don't know, just some thoughts. And they had like a 600% increase in ILL requests after doing this. But again, if you get your ILL game straight, it's a game changer. We do not. We are getting there. On the long list of projects, I'm fixing this all right. Anyway, all right. So I skipped breakfast. I did sit through, and I did mention this first session, but I sat through the vendor stuff before then. The big things on that is like they're doing all the AI, and I love whoever made like the first opening comment where they're like, give us some constructive feedback. And she's like, I want bug fixes and product documentation, not cool, hot AI tools. And like a good 10% of us are just clapping like, yes, yes, nice documentation, products that work. I appreciate the concept of agile software development where we roll out things iteratively. But when you're running, and we're small, so God knows what it's like for you big enterprise libraries. Yeah, I don't want to be the beta tester for life. Anyway, the one plus of going to vendor conferences is they do feed you really well. I skip breakfast because I like my oatmeal. Yeah, the snacks were good, and as long as I paid attention to the fact there were snacks instead of going outside to smoke, because at one point I ended up like just grabbing stuff off trays while people were moving them out because they're like, you need to go to the thing. Yeah, good snacks, good snacks all around. So I moderated the session on Nomad++, and that was pretty low key. Not super well attended, but we're going to trial it as soon as I get back. And I spent a lot of time talking to the Sage rep about Lean Library, so maybe we'll trial that too. I don't know. He gave me some interesting features, and I guess they're more tightly integrated with SpringShare, which is interesting. So, you know, I'm willing to listen to both. Let's see. Yeah, pretty low key. Oh yeah, and I had like 2 questions on this, but I'll find out the answer. Their big revelation that's like coming soon in addition to the other Nomad++ features is like the authentication loop, which is something we need because we have really strange databases that are not designed for libraries. They're designed for like industries that we teach for careers in because we're a career-focused college. And there's one in particular. It's like you have to make an individual account, and then you go to your email, and then you click it, and it sends you to a page that like confirms you made an individual account, but doesn't like reroute you to the front end of the database afterwards. Just like, account verified, and then you're like, but it gives a cryptic message that's not even that good. So yeah, I've had to a lot of instructions. And even then it's like, why does it do this? I'm like, I didn't make the thing. So the new auth loop thing would be great, because then it'll just route people to the front of that database after they click their confirmation message. Let's see, was that before or after the Joy of Lunch? Okay, yeah, we had lunch, and then we have a reparative cataloging and Washington Research Library Consortium, which was good and overwhelming. Yeah. You guys have a lot more people than I do, and I'll just be totally honest, about midway through this, I just kind of was like, get a PDF of the proposal for heading changes, and then, like, you have to do this, and yeah, I actually have, like, getting too complicated. Definitely not doing this at work. We're trying our best, but we're a small house, and we ain't, oh my gosh, so yeah. Apparently they added, like, 16 local authorities, which is great, and yeah. Got to a point where I'm just like, I'll just be happy if I can make some progress on our DEI stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that was after lunch. I'm sorry, I forgot to cover lunch. Lunch was okay. I don't know what I was expecting. We got the iceberg salad, which I didn't eat because I hate iceberg lettuce. And they did tacos, so I had like 2 tacos and some churros. And I haven't had churros either before or in a long time. I didn't expect them to be so chewy. So they are more like donuts, just heads up. And I hate the idea of people who put corn in salad, but that's just me, maybe. I don't know. Whole salad just skipped that. But yeah, I had like 2 tacos real fast, ate some churros, ran. Totally fine. Just was like, okay, maybe the lunch is not so great. I don't know. All right. Then we went and moderated FedSig, which didn't have a mic, which was kind of tough. I thought it'd be fine us yelling at each other, but the joy of librarians is we're not good at being loud. Like, there's a lot of times when I'm like, guys, on the other side of the table, you're competing with the air conditioner. But it doesn't matter. It wasn't really for me. I thought that it was going to be more with repository libraries, and it turns out it is literally the governmental library agencies. Or not library agencies, but like people from Quantico, Department of the Interior people, people from NLM, people from the CDC. Nothing against that. It's just I learned a lot about FedRAMP, and that's great. They are doing a conversation table today, but I will sit that out because I know I just ended up making a bunch of cute, well, I thought they were cute comments. Y'all probably just tolerated me, so thank you very much for doing so. Hopefully it wasn't too painful and you didn't have to roll your eyes too hard. All right. So, yeah, between X and Y, here's some interesting fun drama for you all. I picked up my email from work, and my boss yesterday was out at another meeting, and then these 2 days is our statewide org, and he's going to that, our statewide org conference. But I got an email from him that's like, I heard you brought a cat in, and here's our ADA policy about animals. Let me know if something's changed. Like, you know, cat's not a... Anyway. And I first like fired back like, no, I've never brought any cats into the building, and I don't know how it's getting misconstrued. I'm trying to rehome some cats, and I've shown cat videos, and so from the other department that's in our building, like, took one of my cats, like, in the fall. So maybe that's like us talking about cats got misconstrued. I don't know, but I've never brought a cat in the building. And then I reread it like a few minutes later going, what the hell? And I actually picked up on the fact that it said, like, today I have heard that you brought a cat in. And I'm like, okay, whoever's starting drama with me at work, I don't know who you are, but you all should check my Outlook calendar before you start this stuff. Because I, like, bumped back before he was able to reply. I'm like, now that I reread it, like, I'm in Minnesota. I don't know how I can bring a cat into a library in the other state that I left, being in Minnesota. So... whomever you are that's trying to cause drama with me at work, please check my Outlook calendar first. I actually have like a taxi cab receipt too charged to the corporate card. So if anyone truly doubts that I'm in Minnesota right now, I'm in Minnesota and I cannot bring a cat to work. And I actually told my husband, I'm like, you're not going to believe what I got accused of. Have you brought any of the cats to work? He's like, yeah, the closest I'd bring the cat to work is if I brought the cat into the parking lot. So yeah, interesting times. Only me getting accused of bringing a cat to work when I'm not even in the office or the state. So yeah, that's the cat drama. And, all right, so FedSig, I tried my best. I think I ended up staying. I didn't stay all the way to 4:30. I think I stayed to 4:15 or 4:20. I remember looking down and being like, I'm outie. Because the vendor talk, it sounds like beyond boundaries, AI-driven quality, knowledge partners, excellence in service. Yeah, it's a lot of here's so-and-so, this is what we do. And as someone who watches way too many Ex Libris things, I'm like, okay, I'm bored. And this is like the time my brain shuts down anyway. It's like, we're done. Whatever's going on today, we're done. I don't know why people don't like you and think you are bringing a cat in the place, but yeah, we're done. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of AI in that last session, and a lot of talking about investment in AI things like Alethea and Clairvate's like doing this whole academic package. Don't know what y'all think of that, but yeah, so much AI, which is fine. I came to learn more about AI, but I'm getting a little worried about how we're going to deploy all this, especially if it all comes at once. Anyway, I hope a lot of things more things are opt-in. So after that, I staggered home and I was like sitting here going, do I want to go out to the reception? And what exactly is the reception going to entail? Lord knows I ain't got nothing for fancy dress. You're going to see the cargo pants in this again. Well, not today because I have a different shirt today. But yesterday that was the case, and I got back and I took my feet off and like I'm already getting like some side callus going on. I'm like, maybe I just don't go out. Fortunately, I couldn't reach my husband on the phone because he decided to go to the store at that point. And I pushed myself like, Dave, it can only be a first time or once. Maybe there is something cool. Maybe they give you a swag bag. The last vendor conference I went to was way back in like 2015 for Innovative, and Innovative's like reception was kind of cool. They had like a little dance room, although nobody's dancing. And they had like, at the time, they had their like own specialized creative cocktails that they would make for like each event, and those were free. And there was some other stuff going on. There might be a game room. Anyway, this one I was kind of like, I looked up past ELUNA receptions. I'm like, is this going to be anything other than a big tower full of windows? Which is fine. I like views, but I'm like, if I'm getting a callus down here, is it worth just walking somewhere to look at the views? So I looked up and I'm like, I wish it was 2019 and then I could go to the aquarium. Because even if I'm awkward and keep to myself and have no friends and feel really awful about the fact I have no friends, I can stare at the animals. But in this case, I didn't reach my husband, so I pushed myself. I'm like, go, see what it's like. At the very least, there'll be free alcohol. Have a glass of wine, wander around, make small talk. If you don't find anyone that wants to talk to you, you can just go. And it actually turned out to be great. So I went. You know, my downside is they won't fire up the stuff with the sternals underneath it. So, like, the first timers, you get first crack at the cheese plate and the antipasto sort of a thing, but they don't put up like the good hot orders until an hour later. But you do get first crack looking out all the windows up on top of the Marquette Hotel, which was pretty cool, and I did do a short about that. So glad about that. I ended up having 2 glasses of wine, but fortunately, like a glass, I don't know, maybe midway through my second glass, someone recognized me from the back of my head from my previous job before this one, and was like, ah! And so we're like, ah! I did talk to Marilyn from UM. Well, yeah, maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes. But she had her mask on, and yeah, if I hadn't seen her badge, I wouldn't have recognized her. So I'm like, oh yeah, hi. One person from Michigan, and she's like, I've seen a bunch. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I know Francine's here somewhere, but other than you, I haven't met anybody I recognize, or, well, other than a couple of the Ex Libris people who gave me hugs from name recognition, but that's about it. So yeah, between that. Oh, I did have a good time with the dessert cart once they rolled out the dessert cart. So I will give anybody who is curious about macaroons. Macaroons are like crumbly on the top, and then the inside's supposed to be like jelly-ish and soft. So I always looked at them and was like, are these crunchy cookies or not? And I don't particularly like crunchy cookies. So glad I found that out without having to buy macaroons. And I did manage to make enough out of the hors d'oeuvres to count as a meal last night. So not so bad. Just got back and I've been super knackered and sleeping a lot. I'm getting up early to type my notes or make recordings because the bed is... Anyway, that, and I'm just getting way too much exercise from walking around and burning off my lovely Big butt. Anyway, yeah, I think that's my biggest complaint between everyone trying to give you directions through sky bridges where we're like, can we please walk on blocks? We're not from here. And the sky bridge situation gets confusing. Yeah, my hunt for food the first day was rough. And that's like the one thing that several of us in the conference agreed on. Like, Minneapolis, can you please put some signs on your buildings telling people there's stuff in the sky bridges? Because a lot of us from out of town were wandering around going, why are there no food? Where is the food? Why do I only occasionally see like a bodega in the bottom of these apartment complexes? And like in my case, I wandered through like all the government buildings the first day I was here, and it's like, you guys got to eat something somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, sky bridges, we're big on the sky bridges. I get it, there's snow, but there's not snow now. So a lot of us are just like, please just tell us in blocks. The other critique I have about Minneapolis, your sidewalks, like most of the time are okay, but definitely need to keep my head on my feet because there's a lot of them that are all booped and booped. And your roads are okay. Like compared to Michigan, your roads are fine. So I'm like, get the sidewalks together. The critique I have is I think I stopped using the balcony. I went out yesterday and saw all the footprints my bare feet left on there. So yeah, my feet got really gross and dirty, possibly pigeon shit, but that's okay. So that's the only recommendation I have about that. Don't spend the extra money in this building for the balcony. Just go up to the terrace. The terrace, there was another short about that I did. The terrace is worth it. The terrace is nice. Not worth the extra cents to pay for the balcony, in my opinion. Anyway, we're getting close, 20 minutes, so ELUNA Day 1, let's see what ELUNA Day 2 brings. I had a fun time, and I'm glad I went out and pushed myself to be social.